Howard Francis Crossman Sr. I have two sons, Howard Jr. and John, and a daughter, Susan. I spent 3 years and 10 months in the Army, and there's one thing that has always amused me about the Army. People don't realize that there were two armies during World War II. There was the United States Army for those people who enlisted, and the Army of the United States for those people who were drafted. And I was among those who were drafted. I went overseas in February of '43. We ran into a horrendous storm in the North Atlantic. The waves were 80 feet high. The screw on the boat came out of the water. And being young and curious, I opened one of the doors to the deck, and fortunately we were in the lull of the wave, so no water came in the boat. We landed in England. We got off the boat at night, and it was so foggy you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And I thought to myself, oh my, here we are in London. Well, as it turned out, we weren't in London. So we got on board the train, and in England, you sit in the train, you sit opposite each other. And I decided to go down and look at the engine. And I went down there, and the engine was about 30 feet long. And there was a kid in there shoveling coal into the boiler, and I asked him how old he was, and he said, well, I'm 15. And I said, well, where's the engineer? And he said, well, he'll be along in a few minutes. And so this other kid came along, and I said, you're the engineer? And he said, oh, yes. And I said, well, how old are you? Oh, he said, I'm 17. Oh. I said, how long have you been running the train? Well, he said, this is my second year. He said, that's what happened with the shortage of men in England during World War II, because they had troops virtually all over the world. And of course, when we were young, it was said that England will rule the waves. Of course, that's no longer true today.